Hi everyone, I'm Jerry Ford and welcome to my studio. What are we going to do tonight in this mini class? We're going to learn to use our embroidery machines that have the IQ Designer, which is Babylock, or the Brother My Design Center built into their machine. So this is going to be digitized right within your sewing machine. It's a nice beginner project. It's a little coin purse that I've added the word coins to it. It's fully lined and has a little pocket. It's also quilted. So join me while we digitize this cute little coin purse right in our machine. Designing this always starts with the planning. So what do we want? Well, I want something about this size. I don't want a zipper. I want it to be a snap closure. I'm going to start with paper and pencil. Let's cut this out and let's see how this sort of looks. I made this 3.5 inches high and I made this 3.5 inches wide. Okay, and then this whole thing is like 3 3/4 high. Okay, so that's the height, and we have this point, which is 2.5 inches and 2.5 inches. Okay, I just wanted to write those down. I'm going to cut it out. All right, that's going to be a nice shape for a little coin purse, and I could put 2 snaps or 1 snap because I don't want the coins to fall out. Okay, so here's our basic plan. So how is this going to sew out? Okay, well, we need a pocket that would go at least to the top or close to the top. We're going to need I call it the back, which I think I'll quilt. I think I'll just do this one piece like this is quilted. The pocket can be the same fabric or a different fabric, so this would be a folded piece. So the steps, so we want it 3.5 wide, 3 3/4 high, and the pocket is 2.5 inches high. Okay, and that will make the flap a little bit more than 1 1/4. Okay, so this is the shape that we want to get. So how is this going to sew together? Okay, so probably the first step is to take your back and do a placement for the batting. Okay, because we're going to quilt this part, this long part. Okay, tack down for the batting. We'll need another tack down for fabric. Quilting will be the second part. And any design that you want here. If you wanted to put a design in here, you could put another embroidery design in here. You could also put words, text, or another design here, but it would need to be upside down. I'll say any design edition. Okay, that would be from your stash or some text or whatever. Okay, then after we do that, we need to put the pocket in place. We need to make sure we put this line in here because that pocket can't be any bigger than that. So you would take a folded piece of fabric, maybe put some Deco Bond on it, and there we've got the pocket. So you'd put the pocket and then stitch around the pocket. And 7th, we would put the lining on the top of the whole thing and stitch all the way around, leaving an opening. Okay, so this would be lining with opening. I know I can't read my writing either. If you are new to IQ Design or My Design Center, if you have a Brother machine, then I recommend this book. It's published by Babylock. It's called Babylock Sew Ed Mastering IQ Designer Project and Instruction Book. It's a little pricey, but it's a very, very good book about teaching you all about the ins and outs of the IQ Designer My Design Center, since both products are virtually identical. But it's a very good book. It's got all kinds of projects, step-by-step instructions, and you can see I have used it quite a bit. Mine's pretty worn out, and I've written notes all over it, things I like, things I didn't, all kinds of things. But this is an excellent book. So contact your nearest Babylock dealer and order this book. It's well worth it. This is the book I used as a text in order to teach Mastering IQ Designer, My Design Center, in a year-long Zoom class. If you are interested in taking that class, then send me an email at waltzquilt@yahoo.com and I can give you some more information. Let's go to the machine and let's start to design this little change purse. If you have a brother product, every time I say IQ Designer, I'm also talking about My Design Center. The screens are virtually alike. This is on the Destiny. This is identical to the Brother Dream Machine. You can also do this with the Luminaire, which is a brother product. The Babylock Solaris also does this. The screens look slightly different. Check your owner's manual. Okay, so I would pick IQ Designer or My Design Center from my home screen. Then you've got this layout. If you have the Solaris or the Luminaire, it's going to look slightly different. So we're going to not scan anything in. We're going to use our Shapes tool to create this in the Hoop project. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create what I call the master design, which has got all the elements in it that you want to do at one time. Why? Because whether you're scanning in or putting in a design, your artwork needs to be right first, especially if you're doing an applique, because you're going to use the same shapes over and over again. So I recommend creating a master design. I don't like drawing. I'm not good at it. So I'm going to pick my Shapes tool. This is your shapes. Let me just quickly explain. Your Shapes tool, these are your closed shapes, basic shapes. You have more closed basic shapes. Do I have anything in here I like? Nope. Okay, these are your open shapes. And these are what we call outlines from designs from your embroidery machine. And then you can select your hoops, the different size hoops you're using. I'm probably going to use the 5x7 frame, so I'll just put that in there just so that I see it. Okay, and then here, these are your line drawing portion of your screen. This is your region fill portion of your screen, and it's the same on both machines. Let's talk about the shape. I want to use that shape. So I hit OK. Alrighty, there's my basic shape. This right here is going to be how you can modify your editing tools for either of these shapes. So I want to take that oval shape that I just picked, and I need to make it the size we talked about, which was 3.5 inches wide by 3 3/4 inches high, with the pocket 2.5 inches high. I go to my settings page here, which is up here, and this looks like a piece of paper. I want to go to somewhere around page 7. You're going to have a screen that looks sort of like this. I want a 1-inch grid, so you can have crosshairs, center point, nothing, 3/8 of an inch. I want a 1-inch grid. That's so that I can visualize how this is going to look. Here it's telling me right now the design is 6.19 inches high. Also for me, I would also go into my settings tool, go into the embroidery function, and find where it talks about inches. On the Destiny in the Dream Machine, it'll be on page 8, but you want to find this icon here because you can either have it metric or inches. It says it's 6.119 inches high. I can make it bigger and smaller proportionally. This is smaller, this is bigger. This is height. Make it shorter, taller, skinnier, or wider. Okay, so I need to make it shorter. So it needs to go to 3 3/4 inches. So 3.75 by, I need to get narrow to 3.5 inches wide. Okay, I need to draw a line. So I'm going to use my drawing tools to draw a line, a straight line. You know what? I can't draw a straight line. So I'm going to go back into my shapes. And I'm going to just take this one. Okay. And I'm going to size that because I can't draw a straight line. So I don't want to. I'm going to make this a lot shorter, to as small as it'll go. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to move it down to the bottom. And see, here it is right here. And I just want this part, so I'm going to hit OK. And I want to erase everything but that straight line. Or let's make this a little narrower while I'm here. I don't need it that wide. I want it less than, yeah, that's good enough. Okay, and now I want to erase most of this line. So you have two ways of erasing. You can use the eraser tool, or you can use the select and cut. This is my select key on the Solaris and Luminaire. It's down here, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to draw a box and get most of this line. Then I'm going to cut it. I'm going to magnify this, so I'm going to make this bigger. So up here is your magnification. And on the Destiny Dream, I can take this red box at the upper right-hand corner and scoot it down. On the Luminaire and Solaris, there's a hand, and you have to pan down and turn the hand off. So now I'm going to erase. So I want the smallest eraser I can use on the Solaris and the Luminaire. You have a digital value. I'd probably make it 5 pixels. Okay, so I'm going to erase, and I'm using a pen. I'm using a stylus. And you can use any stylus that you have. You can use your hand. Do not use a pen. Do not use pencil. You want something with a plastic tip, which is this one I have is an unpowered stylus. If you have the Lumina, the Solaris, this will not work unless it is a powered stylus. And I will put in the description where I got this one from. I think it was from Amazon. Bamboo also makes them. And see how that one turns on. Now this is a powered stylus, and it would work on the Solaris and the Luminaire. And it's also, this one's rechargeable. Okay, so I'm going, see I have a little tiny square. I'm going to come up here and just erase that. Pan it over to the other side and erase this. Okay, make it smaller. Unzoom it. I want to select it. Now, when it's selected, you want to make sure it's completely isolated, because if you don't, it's going to drag other stuff with it. So I want to move it up till it's about 2.5 inches hot from the bottom. So there's 1, 2, so halfway up here. So I'm going to not click and drag it or move it. Yeah, although you can use your size or your rotate tool and use the arrow keys to move it where you want it to go. Too high. So that's 1, 2.5, maybe go a little lower. And I'm just eyeballing somewhere around 2.5. Am I happy with this shape? Yeah. So I'm going to apply stitches. So I'm going to go to my run properties because I'm not putting in a fill right now. And I'm going to change it to just a double run. I'm going to change it to red so that I can recognize that I've made changes. Okay, so now I'm going to flood, and that's what this is. This is your drawing tools. I'm not using these today, but here's my flood, which means that anytime I make a change, I have to flood it. So I'm going to use this in and I touch it. Now, because this line and this line are touching, so they now are considered one line. So I'm going to save this here so that an icon that looks like this. And I'm going to save it. You can save it into internal memory, a jump stick, another jump stick, or directly into your computer, or an SD card, which is what you would find on video and camera equipment. I'm going to leave it on the internal. Okay, so I've saved it. That's going to be my placement stitch. Hit next, because now I'm ready to take this to embroidery. Okay, the next is your stitch properties. You see what it looks like here. This is, you can make it bigger or smaller as far as size, image. Okay, and if I had different lines all together, I could link them together. I only have one, select as grayed out, I only have one line. This is my stitch length. I like it to be at least 1/10 of an inch. If you wanted to know what this was in metric, because your machine stitch length is in metric, you go to your settings page, and where you had, was it page 8? Yep, I could change this into metric. Now that's telling me that's 2.5 millimeters, which is a normal stitch length. Okay, and then I'll hit set. If you are a Solaris and Luminaire, you are already in preview mode. Destiny Dream Machine, I have got to see what it's going to look like. I have got to hit preview. Okay. Once I hit set, it is now telling me that it is it's converting it to an embroidery pattern, and after you leave this screen, you can't save it again. Now I'm in embroidery. Okay, I like that. Okay, that's going to be my placement for the back. Okay, I need a tack down for the back. I could go to IQ Designer and go through that whole process again, but why bother? You've already got it in embroidery. So I'm going to go to Edit. I need to duplicate it, and then it's going to be in a slightly different place, but the icon is the same for the Luminaire and the Solaris. I hit that. Puts one on top. I want it on top of the other, so I'm going to immediately hit size, put it in the middle, because now one's directly on top of the other. And then I'm going to do that again, so I can hit duplicate again, because I need two of those. I need one of them for the tack down for the batting, another one for the tack down for the fabric. So I'm going to duplicate it again and size it again. Where's the size? Put it back in the middle. Now I have three stacked one on top of the other. Okay, so now when I go to color, which is this icon, you see a color chip. I have 3 reds. I need to change the colors of 2 of these. Okay, so I'm going to pick this one. I'll make that one maybe green. I'll take this one and maybe make it, I don't know, purple, whatever. Okay, now we need to add the quilting. So I'm going to go to Add, go back into IQ Designer or My Design Center. I'm going to bring back, so this is the thing that looks like a blue arrow here, is bringing back the design. So I'm going to bring that back in, set. I want to erase this line. I want to have quilting, but I don't want that middle line at all. So I'm going to go ahead over here, take my eraser, and I'm going to carefully erase. Go bigger. I can go up to, I think, 1600. I'm just taking my pen and come over and erase here, go across. I like to get these parts first. So I need this as one whole big piece. So like I said, this is where you're going to take your master design and take away or add parts that you don't need. Okay, I don't need this line anymore because I want to fill this entire section. Okay, zoom back out. All right, I can go in a little more. Okay, so now I want to put in a quilting design. This would be if you want to draw with those fill stitches. This is your editing This is a color eyedrop, but we're not going to go into that today. It's not a full class. Okay, here, once I pick that region property, then here's the different size of the drawing lines. This is a fill stitch, stippling stitch, or the fancy fills. And I want a fancy fill. So I'll hit select, and what do I want to use in here? Let's see. If I were putting another design on top, like remember we talked about putting another design on the flap as well as on the back, then I would pick something simple that wouldn't take away from the embroidery design that I'm putting in there. But I want it fancier. I'm going to just pick the first one, okay? I am going to make it yellow. Before I fill that, I want to make sure it doesn't sew this line out again. I've already sewn it twice. I don't need to keep sewing it over and over and over again. So over here, I'm going to go to my line properties, and I want to pick a no-sew line. That means the line is, the shape is there, the stitching is not. And I'm going to flood that red line. Okay, I don't want it to stitch that. But I do want it, that fill that I just picked, I'm going to hit flood and pick inside. And so now there's what it's going to look like. I'm going to hit next. Now we're going to set the properties for this stitch. Let me go back to 100. Here it's telling me what pattern. At this point I could pick this. It'll take me to the color chart and I could change the color. So let's just change it to that, and say if I wanted to change this, I could at this point change it. So I'm not stuck. Okay, so now it just changed the color a little bit. Okay, I only have one, so the select is out. If I had two different blocks, then I could just link it together. Okay, then over here are my stitch properties. This says, okay, how much of that design does it look like? Now on the Solaris and the Luminaire, once you make changes here, you're going to see what those changes look like. But I can't see that. I'm just going to leave that there. If I want to see what that really looks like, I can hit preview on the Destiny and the Dream. I'm talking about just Destiny and Dream. Hit OK. It's showing me, oh goodness, I need to go back. I can't even see that. Okay, so I'm going to change that color. Let's make it darker. I'm going to make it dark green. Okay, hopefully be able to see that. So I go to preview and let's see what that looks like. Okay, no, I would like it smaller than that because this is kind of small and you're not going to see that much. I'm going to hit return. So I want to make this, instead of 100%, I'm going to make this maybe 60. I can go as low as 50. Well, let's see what it looks like at 50, okay? And I could also, see no changes here. Solaris and Luminaire, you would see those changes immediately. Okay, now this changes the angle, so I could change this around. You also can change it, offset it on the Solaris and the Luminaire. I can't on the Destiny and the Dream. This is an outline is on, or you could turn it off. The difference is when it's on, when it goes from section to section as it stitches, it's going to travel along the outer edge. That's fine. I can just leave it like that. The disadvantage is if you didn't want that hard looking line there, you would turn it off. The disadvantage to turning it off is that when it goes from this section to this section, it's going to jump. You're going to get a jump stitch there. Not a problem if you have a higher end machine that cuts the jump stitches, but it does add time to the stitching. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's fine. I'll leave it at 50%. Set. Okay. All right, so now it would do the quilting. If I wanted to put a design, I would add, I'm just going to put a letter. Okay, I would say I was going to put coin, C-O-I-N, and then S, coins, set. Okay, so then I could take that and move it. This would be move, because it's selected. I could move it down, shrink it, do whatever. If I wanted this to be on the top, I could size this down, make it narrower. Yeah, that'll work. I would have to rotate it, then move it up. Okay, because remember, if it's on the flap, you could put that there. Yeah, I don't want it, so I'm going to hit delete, so I don't want that part. Because I'm just going to do plain. We need to put the pocket on. So I'm going to go to Add. I'm going to go over to IQD. Bring up that original design. So that's a recall. Bring in the same design. Okay, my pocket is going to be, I'm just going to stitch the bottom part. So I'm going to make that a little bigger. I want to cut the top part out. So I'm going to select the top part. Come down close. And cut. Okay, I didn't get the line. I want that line out of there. Make it bigger and erase. Pan over. Oh, you have to pick the size. Okay, I want to erase this. What you don't want to do is a lot of erasing. Just do it in little bits, because if you have to undo, like say I went, oops, okay, I could undo. Don't have that pen on there for a long period of time, because that's just more you have to undo. Or you have to draw it back again. Okay. Okay. Go back to 100%. Okay, now this is going to stitch on my pocket. So I want to make a line. So I'm going to go to Line Properties, make it a double run. That's fine. And I'm going to make it blue. Make it dark blue. Okay. And flood the line. Okay, good. That will stitch on my pocket. So I'm now ready to go to next. This is a slightly smaller stitch, so 2 millimeters is fine. I'll leave that like that and go all the way to embroidery. Just keep hitting set and next and okay or whatever. Now it's stacked on top. See, there's the blue. The last thing is to sew on the lining. So go to Add, IQ, bring back that design. So I'm going to recall it. Pick it again, set. Okay, so what do we need? We don't need the line. We do need the outer edge, but I need to make an opening. Okay, so I'm going to make this bigger, and this time I'm going to erase this line. You always have to pick the size. I'm going to erase the line carefully. I'm going to go bigger. I always go around little bits first. Go to the other side. And go bigger. Okay. Okay. Now I also, at the bottom edge, want to keep the curves intact. I want to erase this bottom part just a little bit to leave an opening so we can turn the thing. Okay, so this is good. I'm going to change this. Now, this is the last one. You can do a double run or a triple run. Either way, it will be fine. I'm going to make this purple. And I'm going to flood, go back here, flood this line, which is that fill container. Now that line is purple. I'm happy. Okay, 2 millimeter length is fine. Preview, okay. Set, okay. I'm happy. There's my finished design. It's got 6 color stops. I'm going to save this into memory. Internal memory or one of the jump sticks. I'm saving that. Okay, now at this point you could also add your text. Add whatever you want to write in here. When you're stitching it, you would have to stitch these first 4 color stops, then come back, or then skip to the end where your design would be to stitch that. After you stitch the design, you would have to come back to color stop number 5 and stitch the pocket in and then stitch the lining in. Okay, let's go ahead and stitch this out. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so to stitch this out, I put just tearaway stabilizer in my hoop. I have a piece of batting, just a scrap of batting, about 4 inches wide, about 6-7 inches high, just whatever scrap you have. This is the back of the bag, so just a piece of fabric about 4 inches, 4.5 inches by maybe 5 inches high, just a little bigger than you need. Now this one I made really big. This is for the pocket, so I've made it at least 4 inches wide, maybe a little wider, and probably about 7 inches high, and I have put some Decker Bond or a heavy fusible interfacing on the back of it because I want this to be kind of firm. And I folded in half crisp so that I have a fold at the top. If you like, you could take a running stitch, a double running stitch, to give this a more professional top to the pocket. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add the word coins to this. So I hit add, and I'm going to put my lettering, and I'm just going to do simple ones here like that. Put C. And S. Okay. All right, is way too big, so I'm going to hit size. And the word coins are, let's see how big I can make. It's probably, move it here. Put it in the center and rotate it. And move it over a little bit. Okay, now I'm ready to stitch it out. I could save this into memory if I'm going to use it all the time. I'm not. I'm going to go all the way to embroidery. It is now ready to stitch. First color stop is going to be the outline for the batting. Take your pencil and extend this line out so you can see it later, because it'll get hard to see it buried underneath of the batting and everything. Okay, so I'm going to cover all of the stitching, at least the round part, with the batting. And now I'm going to do the second color stop, which is going to tack down this batting. I left that line there for a reason, and that way it crushed the batting in that one spot, so it'll make it easier to turn it. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the hoop from the frame, and I'm going to cut out all of this excess batting from outside of the stitch line so that it'll reduce the bulk in the seam. And I will do that off camera. Trimmed away the batting from outside the seam line, and I'm going to put my fabric on the top so that it covers everything by at least 1/4 inch. Okay, and then I'm going to stitch this color stop number 3. I've decided I want to put a key ring on it, so I've got maybe about a 2-inch piece of ribbon here, and I'm just going to just tape it in right over here until it covers it. Okay. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. Actually, I should have not put the tab on yet. I'm going to have to hold it out of the way because now I need to quilt this. Okay, now it's doing the quilting. Now this part is going to take the longest, so I am going to finish stitching this off camera and I will be back when it's done. Okay, it's done the quilting, and I actually took the ribbon out and put it back in as it was doing the outline. So I'm going to, remember I added the word coins to this, or if you had a design here or design up here, now is when you want to skip forward in order to stitch that. So I put dark blue thread in my needle, and now, okay, in order to skip ahead, I'm going to use the plus or minus key, and I'm going to advance 2 color stops. See, it says the word coins on there, right over there. Okay, so hit OK, because I have to remember where I left off because I have to come back there. Okay, now we're going back and we're going to stitch out the word coins. So now it's stitching out the word coins, and I will let that stitch out and I'll be back. Okay, it finished stitching out the word coins, so now I need to go back to the screen. That's the end, so this would, see, now it starts right back at 0, so I'm going to now advance that until I see the stippling done. Okay, it just finished that. Okay, now it's the placement for the pocket. If your pocket has a side to it or it's directional, you're going to want to put it right sides together here. And you see that line? I'm going to just start it just below that line, slightly below, so that it covers the other 3 sides. You can tape this down if you like, but if you hold the button in with the Babylock and the Brother machines, it's going to go very slowly there, through there. Now it'll pick up. For the very last color stop, you're going to take your other piece of background fabric. This could be a different color. This is your lining, and it's going to be this. I'm going to use the same. You want it to cover all of the stitches by at least 1/4 of an inch. More if you can. And now the last color is going to stitch in. It's going to leave an opening at the bottom. Okay, it's all finished. Now we're going to remove it from the hoop. I'm going to remove the excess stabilizer because it's easier. That's why I chose the tearaway. Okay, I have removed all the stabilizer from the back. Here's what it looks like from the back. I'm going to take a nice sharp pair of scissors and I'm going to cut about 1/4 of an inch around. Clip my curves, or cheat and use pinking shears around the curves. All right, and now we're going to turn it, pull it through the opening. Okay, you're going to want to turn in this edge and hand stitch it closed, or put in a little piece of fusible web in there and seal it down. You could do that as well. I'm going to hand stitch it, but I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. Okay, I stitched the opening closed, and I'm going to now turn that pocket to the other side. And now I'm going to give it a good press with some steam so it's nice and flat. I'm going to give this press closed. Oh, I like that. That's just almost looks like a little bit of piping here. I could press that further under, but I like that. See, that looks like piping. I like that. Okay. And then I'm going to press this sharply here. And now I'm going to put the cam snaps in. And so I'd put like, I think I'll put 2, one here and here. That way the coins won't fall out. And add a jump ring here. I'm going to go ahead and place these on the outside first. Just mark where it goes, and it won't go through. And this just follow the directions on the tool. And usually before I snap this for good, I'd take it to my husband. I have no grip strength. I'll take a marker and just mark the center of where this is, and then put the other side of the cam snap here. And I'll go ahead and put the other 3 cam snaps on, and then this is done. Okay, here it is all finished. It opens up, 2 cam snaps, put your coins in here. These should be enough to keep the coins in. I added a jump ring to the ribbon, and now this has turned out really cute. You can design this in the Hoop project right in your machine with IQ Designer or My Design Center. If you don't have these machines and you would like a copy of this design in PES format without the word coins, you can put in your own text or whatever design you like, then send me an email at waltzquilt@yahoo.com and I'll be happy to send you the design. It can be stitched in any 5x7 embroidery machine. If you've got IQ Designer or My Design Center, give this a try, because now you can make a little purse in any size you like, all on your own. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Have a great day. Bye.